Welcome to Recovery Rockstar. My name is Melinda White. I am a person in long-term recovery. What that means to me is that I've been free from living in active addiction since December 28, 2011. And I often like to make plugs about resources. I often plug Narcan. I want to do a little bit more of a focus today on the 12 recovery centers in the state of Vermont. They are usually known as Turning Point Recovery Centers, although some may have different names. There's Kingdom County Recovery Center, Turning Point at Chittenden County, Turning Point at Franklin County. But I encourage people to go online and look at those 12 different recovery centers. What they are, they're not residential, they're recovery resource centers. So they're strategically located across the state, and this is where anybody, whether it's a person struggling or their family members, can go into one of those recovery centers and ask questions and be connected to resources. Those resources can be anything from self-help groups to one-on-one peer recovery coaching. There's so many great programs that happen out of these recovery centers, and there are also a number of employees of those recovery centers that are embedded in other locations like emergency departments, police departments, Department of Correction, probation and parole. So I encourage people to learn more about your recovery centers, and if you ever have any question about supports for people struggling with addiction or the family members or both, to contact those recovery centers and they can help you get connected to the right resources. So putting in the plug for the recovery centers, and I don't want to take up much more time now because I'm really excited to talk to my guest today. People who saw the last episode with Chip Piper hopefully heard us talking about an event that he was doing to raise awareness, and I'm not going to go in a lot of the detail because I know he's going to touch on it now, but the event happened. So we are doing a follow-up to see how it went, what's next, and basically how things are going with the organization that Chip has created. So without further ado, Chip, thank you so much for being back here, especially so quickly.
Thank you.
So last time that we chatted, you were talking about the event that you were putting on in May.
Right.
And now's our chance to kind of circle back and look at, how it went.
Right.
Before we do that, just to do a quick recap, can you tell me just a little bit about yourself and why you created this nonprofit?
Right. So in July of 2020, I lost my son, Michael, to fentanyl poisoning and overdose. And one of the main items or main issues that Michael struggled with was trying to get recovery coaching. And so he had, pleaded with me like, Dad, you're a smart guy. We need you to do something to help with recovery coaching. So upon his death, one of the things that I wanted to do was work with the local Turning Point Center of Addison County. And I ran my first run where I did a pledge by mile, and I brought in a check for a little over $1,000 and said, hey, this is in memory of Michael, and I would, love to be able to put this towards anything that helps with recovery coaching. And then that started the relationship with Turning Point Center of Addison County, and we started an annual run on our own where I would run different events each year, and that's where it all started. So it was something that was important to Michael as far as being something for access to recovery coaching, and so I've been doing it ever since 2021, and it's been really good to get out in the community and work with people.
Yeah, and I know that the answer to this, but also for viewers to hear, for you creating this run, this event, do you feel like it's been helpful for you?
Yes, a lot of what I've been able to do with just meeting so many different people and families, and being able to touch base with Don and Greg Tatro. I went to their facility and saw all the work that they were doing with the folks in recovery, and the success stories of the moms and sisters, and just being able to see it firsthand and what they were doing and how I could help. And that to me was really a big success for me, was to be able to see that and see how we could continue on to try to fundraise and do different events, something different than what they were doing.
Yeah.
But also to touch on the health and wellness piece of it.
Right. And I love it. I think as I'm hearing you talk and just my history of since I've met you, we call, I'm on the police advisory board, and our board chair has been bringing this one word to the forefront often, saying we're solutionists. And that's how I view you in this, right? It's like going through something that was tragic and finding, okay, what is the solution to this? And then not only finding solution that helps you in moving forward, but solutions for other people that are struggling. And I just think that's so amazing, because sometimes people don't really know what can I grab onto to make a difference, right? To make this worth something. And when you say Greg and Don Tatro, just for viewers who may not know, so they were the founders of Jenna's Promise.
Right.
And you found your own unique event that it seems to be growing pretty in a big way over the years. Am I right?
Right. So we actually started, we finished up, and we have our own nonprofit now. It's called TR4 Health and Wellness. And that was official in July, and we have a board of directors and all the people that staff it. And it's been something that I want to make sure that we continue this, and it's going to be even different, is we're going to have a memorial race, and it's going to be in honor of Michael and Jenna, and that's going to be in 2026. So we are working on trying to get some of the things in place to do that, and hopefully we'll be able to do a trail run in Ripton, Vermont, is where we're looking at right now. So I've been working with a couple of folks who are race directors and who have experience with setting up races, and they're going to help me try to organize it.
Awesome.
So that will be really a big goal for us, is to have something where it's a memorial race, and it's something that we can do every year in support of recovery, but also in get people outside in health and wellness, and be, and get kids involved,
Right.
Family members, volunteers, to be part of the whole organization and help, every year to do this fun run. So.
I love that, because you had touched on earlier too, the reason that this has been helpful for you is connection, right? All the people that you've met, and we hear it so often, it almost feels cliche, but Johan Hari had said the opposite of addiction is connection, and that stands the test of time, because that's really the solution when we're struggling, and not even just with addiction, but in general. And oftentimes when we're struggling, the last thing we want to do is connect with other people, but it's like the healthiest thing we can do. And I just love the fact that you're doing that, but then the rest of it too, when you're talking about the health and wellness, when I'm working with new people working on their recovery, our brains need repair, our bodies are hurting, and by investing ourselves in something as healthy as being outside and moving our bodies and all that stuff, like what a win. So you're combining all these things I'm just so passionate about, and I admire the work that you've been doing. So tell me a little bit about, actually one more time to back up. So now you said that officially you have a nonprofit.
Yes.
And can you say the name a little bit slower for viewers that might want to look it up?
So it's TR4, the number 4, R, Health and Wellness. And we
Awesome.
do have our own Facebook page. We started it with the race last year. So it is available out there. And we have our own website. It's trailrun4recovery.com. So
Beautiful.
that's also part of it. And there's connections to all the things that we've done in the past, and to the website, and also to the Facebook page.
Awesome. I would encourage viewers to look that up. I know I've already kind of tooled around and have liked pages and whatnot, so it's great to be able to see the work that you all are doing.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about this past event.
So it was an extremely difficult time. We normally, the year before, we had the driest year,
Right.
and this last in May, it was extremely cold, rainy. So when I started my event at 8 o'clock in the morning, it was 39 degrees,
Oh,
and it was raining. And so I was able to do my first loop of 27 miles, and came in, got showered, went back out, replaced my clothing because it was soaked right to the bone, and it was extremely cold. So I went up the mountain. It started to get dark, and probably about 9:30, it was starting to snow and sleet at the top. So it's a very steep incline. It's a little over 3,000 feet of climb.
wow.
So you're going up the side of the mountain, and it's a little bit wet, a little bit muddy. And then as I started to once I got to the top, came down on the other side, I started to hallucinate. And one of the things that I looked up was that hypothermia can start with hallucinations. So we joke about it now, but I saw black cats and skulls. And it was really and I was really strange to me, and I I wasn't sure what was going on, but my temperature was starting to get, it was starting to get really bad. So I only had, a couple miles left. And it was interesting because somebody who was doing the 9-mile loop on Saturday was just coming up the mountain, and it's very strange for someone he says, well, I was just coming out to check on people to see if somebody was here.
Wow.
So it was nice to be able to have somebody to bring you back in. So, but it was, and then I fell a couple of times. The conditions were very difficult. It was one of there's a multitude of events. They have, like I said, they have a 9-miler, a marathon, a 100-miler, a 250, a 55-miler. So they have, over the 2 weeks, it was really still rainy every day, cold, and they had a lot of people that did not finish.
Right.
So I was able to get 37 miles of the 55, and then I came in and I decided that it was not good to keep going, because I probably would have needed, to warm up, but the fact that I was starting to hallucinate was really a sign that was time. Plus, I had hurt my ankle a little bit and wasn't feeling right, and so instead of continuing on, I made the call. So that was the event. It was very difficult, but it was also something I learned, some lessons from it, like as far as gear and equipment and things like that you need to really have more of a support team.
Right.
Excuse me.
It's amazing to me as I listen to you, because I can't imagine, as you're doing this and you're so committed and knowing what the weather's going to be and still saying, well, we're going to power forward. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And thank God you made it back.
Yep.
And exercised wisdom to know, like, okay, it was inordinate for us to have the cold and wet weather that we had in May.
In the darkness, it's definitely different running at night in the woods, and it's a very technical course. So there's roots, rocks, and like I said, there was a couple of times that I fell and didn't get hurt, but it was more my ego got hurt, I guess, than anything. But but anyway, it was something that the whole 2 weeks of racing, it was kind of difficult for everybody.
Right. So when you say 2 weeks, so this was over the course of 2 weeks that you did.
So my race was started on a Friday.
Yeah.
And so that was the 55-miler, or what they call the 88K. So it's 2 loops. They have 5 marathons in 5 days, 10 marathons in 10 days, and they have a 555-miler as well. And it's there was 2 folks that actually got to 333 miles.
Wow. In that weather.
Wow. And but it's also to prepare yourself. I wasn't prepared. I didn't realize how cold it was.
Right.
I had my gear, but it was also something that, I think you don't know until you're in the middle of it, sometimes. And it's like, if you're not prepared, if you don't have 2 or 3 sets of clothing or something, Gore-Tex to repel the rain, it was just so, it was so cold that feeling was difficult to get through, because like I said, you were soaked.
Right. Right.
You couldn't, I mean, if you had, like I said, you needed really special gear, I think, more than anything to get through it. And some people had it, so.
Well, and the rain was like relentless at that time,
Yeah.
too. So it's so amazing to me that, again, powering forward because of so much, just the belief and the commitment in doing this. What do you feel was the highlight of doing this run? Or like maybe what you learned most or what you feel best about with it?
I think learning that I need more help, more volunteers, more people. So that's why the other part of this is maybe we can press people that, hey, you want to be part of this. So there's 3 spots where I could actually have people drive to set up. So, and that's what I think was the most important thing is I had a difficult, I lost my mom at the end of April. So during that time frame, I lost momentum, and my training had to be. I was with her for 5 days, and I had to change a lot of things.
Right.
So it was one of those races where I felt like I just wasn't prepared.
Right.
I needed the mental, I needed the break, needed to get outside, to get, for me it was getting into the woods and getting, that part of it was the really good part was for me, even though it was horrible conditions and it was mud, 85% of the course
Right.
was mud. I mean, I went up to my knees on some of the mud. It was really rough. But I think just, getting outside, it still was good for me to do it, and to learn more about what I need to do, being prepared. But the main thing is that I need a crew.
Yep.
And so that's where I think that's where I didn't eat enough, I didn't drink enough. Those were kind of things that, because the elements were there and I was preoccupied. I was more interested in how cold I was my mindset wasn't focused on like, all right, you got to consume this much calories per hour and this much
Right.
water. And I was doing it, but then when I first came in and showered and got back, I didn't have food. I said, I'm just going to come back and I'll get the food at the end, because I was trying to get out and get up there because of the darkness, and it was like, it is a challenge, and to get up there and get back in. So then that wasn't a mistake. So
I find it what's intriguing is one of the challenges, or something that you said that you learned, is something that I hear so often also in the world that I work in, that I learned I need to ask for help.
yeah.
It's so hard for us as humans, regardless if somebody has issues with addiction or whatever it is, and especially those who are strong, like you're a leader in what you're doing. So it's almost like, I don't know if this is your experience, but for me, I encourage people, you need to ask for help. We can't do this alone. And I'm convinced of that. And yet, as soon as I need help, I'm the last one to say, I need it.
Try to go alone. Yeah.
Yes, because we don't want to bother people, or we feel
Right.
like, no, I can do this. And yet, I love the fact that, you're saying that, because it is a we thing, like surviving any kind of trauma or anything in life that we deal, right? There's curveballs that you just listed, that there's so many things we don't anticipate that are going to happen. We can't get prepared for it. That's why we need each other. So when those things happen, it's like, okay, I've got this person on standby. I've got this stuff going on, that I need people that are going to be in my corner, right?
Right.
And I love that, because you're in the corner of many others by helping to support and to fund recovery coaching and to raise awareness that you also need your own self-care to do that,
Yeah.
and your team. So I love that this is an opportunity that you can share a little bit, and you kind of did, that it would be helpful for people that are interested in volunteering, that it sounds like you got some volunteer opportunities for people.
Yeah, and I think next year they're adjusting the race time, which it was Memorial Day weekend is a difficult time for most people.
Yeah.
Greg and Don is their anniversary, so they always struggle because they're away. So next year the race, he's moved it a week ahead, so now it'll be later. So I think we'll have more opportunity for folks to come.
Nice.
And but I think that was the thing for me. It was the death of my mom and trying to work through that in my head, and then not reaching out. And then a lot of folks that were part of my team, they couldn't make it.
Right.
They also had plans, and they supported me all the way up through it, and were like, "Is there anything you need?" I did have folks there. I mean, my wife was there, Patty, and my daughter, and Bill, my executive director. He was there. He was my rock. He definitely was somebody who helped, and he was part of, helping organize with the race director for parking and doing things like that. So he was very helpful once on Saturday, which is their big draw of people come in for the marathon and the 9-miler. It's
Nice.
a couple hundred people, so it's pretty
Wow.
pretty significant.
That was going to be another question too, is like in the grand scheme of things, looking back, how did it feel with the overall participation in the event itself? Like, do you feel like it went well?
There was a lot of people that showed up, but again, I think the weather and the conditions made it difficult, and so a lot of people couldn't, didn't finish or
Right.
were had to cut it short. But I think still an experience and a lesson learned from it. Like I said, to be able to figure out like what went wrong, what went right.
Yes.
We did raffle off a trail bike.
Yes, I
And-
remember you doing
and
that.
that was one of the local folks, John Izo. He won the bike, and so we want to again just learn from experience. But the other piece will be running our own event in 2026. So that's what will take a lot of help and assistance in people and to draw on the experiences of the race directors. And so in September, on September 20th, the local Turning Point Center of Addison County, they're actually working on putting on an event. I've been part of that and collaborating with Danielle
Yeah.
Wallace of the Turning Point Center. She's the executive director, and we're looking at doing a 1K and a 5K community run that will be in Middlebury. And what I'm hoping to learn from that is all the, once we get it all set up, and the race directors that I've reached out to help us, that we'll gain from that experience. And it's right around my son's birthday, so it'll be kind of fun to do something that I know he'd be excited to be part of if he was here. So.
That's super cool. So you said that was September 20th.
Yes, and there's I'll forward you the information, and maybe we can share it. And right now they're trying to do a drawing where they're creating a graphic for the race. And Hope in the Community, I think I can't remember exactly, but it was something of that. So she's trying to get people to design something for the race so that we have like a special graphic, and that's going to be decided on in July. So people can submit their designs for the race, for the graphic for the race, and she's posting that out on Facebook now. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool to hear about between, September 20th, having the run through the Recovery Center, and then you're also looking ahead to next year in May, maybe a week later, though, to do your annual run. And then also I want to mention, especially for our viewers, for anybody who's not familiar with the upcoming 4th annual Substance Use Addiction Summit. So this year, our Substance Use Addiction Summit is on Friday, August 1st at the Champlain Valley Expo. It's the only event of its kind in the state of Vermont where we have upwards of 100 different organizations, not only Vermont organizations, but we have partners that join us from New Hampshire, from Maine, New York. But I love that you're also going to be there with a table. And I'm thinking that could be an opportunity for viewers, community partners to learn more about both the race in September, because you're going to have all your partners right there, but then also for the larger race in May. So that could be a great opportunity to make connections and to share volunteer opportunities with people that are visiting the booth.
yeah. So just to clarify, we'll have the one in September with Turning Point Center. I'm going to continue to fundraise on my own with my race my runs that I do every year, and then there will be a third, which will be the annual memorial run. That'll be Jenna and Michael. So
Okay.
I'm going to continue my ultras, and I'm going to use that as the platform for fundraising, because I think it's important to work through that. And I am going to announce today that I'm upping the challenge.
Oh boy, here we go.
So in May, I've decided to run the 100-miler.
Wow.
So that will be something that we fundraise for. And like I said, hopefully we'll be able to raise funds there, help the recovery coaching, and then build and utilize some of that to build our race, funding for our race in probably going to be in the fall. I think we haven't picked a time frame yet, but I'm thinking that they're doing their race in September. We'll learn about all the mechanics of it, and then there's it's actually called Rikers in Ripton, Vermont. It's they have cross-country ski trails, and that's what we're going to try to work to see if we can set up our trail run for Michael and Jenna.
Nice.
on that in that trail area. So it's not crazy vertical, it's not 3,000-4,000 feet.
Right.
So it'll be more something that's attainable. But so have a lot that I'm looking at going forward. The annual race for Michael and Jenna, but also myself will sort of just decided that the fundraising will be me doing my races and then trying to actively get people involved in the community, and then doing our own annual memorial run would be, special for us.
That's
So,
amazing.
So
Chip, I'm just so inspired by you and what you have done with everything from just your physical health, right? Like being able to do these kind of races and marathons, and then also raising awareness, and then building these partnerships. And I feel like this is only the beginning.
Right.
And I'm just so super excited for you and proud of you. And I know we're running low on time, but I just want to remind viewers can give us your website one more time.
it's trailrun4 recovery.com, and then we have our own Facebook page, TR4 Health and Wellness, and that's where you
Awesome.
can reach out to us.
And then I also encourage people to come to this year's 4th Annual Substance Use Addiction Summit. It's the Coming Together Summit. It'll be on Friday, August 1st at the Champlain Valley Expo. The summit presentation is at 10 o'clock from 10 to 11:45. And then the tables open, the booths open. We're going to have upwards of 100 different booths. And then we also have different breakout rooms, everything from learning some self-defense to having a recovery panel, people to sharing their stories, to Dr. Suzanne White teaching about addiction in the brain. We've just got all these great breakout room opportunities too. So the event is open to the public, no charge to booth holders or public, and no registration required. And I just want to make that part clear because I know we've had some people who said, well, I wanted to go, but I didn't register. No registration required. Just show up. You can stay for 10 minutes. You can stay for the entire day. But that'll also give to any viewers that would like to connect with Chip. You'll be able to see him at the summit as well, so you can look for his booth. So it was wonderful seeing you. The time goes by so quick, but I'm so excited for you, proud of you, and excited to see what comes next, and obviously willing to do anything I can to support that. So until next time, we wish everybody a great day and hope to see you at the summit on August 1st. See you next time on Recovery Rockstars.